For this part, we're going to talk about factoring. Factoring is an important operation of algebra. So hopefully you still remember all the rules of factoring. So for number 13, make sure you take out the GCF. That's in fact the first thing you need to do when it's come to factoring problems. Now, for number 17, we don't have the GCF here. So as you can see, A is just 1. So you can just simply pick two numbers. When you multiply, you get 12, and when you add, you get negative 13. So in this case is negative 1 and negative 12. Okay. Number 18, as you can see, we have the 3 in front, right? So hopefully that 3 is just the GCF. And once you take out that 3, the problem's going to get easier. So if I take out the 3, it's going to be u squared plus 5u minus 24. And then from here, we pick two numbers. So two numbers, when you multiply, you get negative 24, and when you add, you get positive 5. So in this case, it's going to be u plus 8 and u minus 3. Okay, the most important part, make sure you still have that GCF in your final answer. So in factoring problems, everything is still there. It's just we have it in factor form. All right, moving on to number 19. So we have 3 in front, and 3 is not the GCF. So we're going to get the type B of trinomial here. So a lot of people have go with trial and error. Some people use the box method. Some people use the AC method. I'm going to show you my method. So I'm going to pick, it's kind of similar to the AC method, but I just don't use grouping. So I have to multiply 3 and negative 7, which is negative 21, and I put negative 4 here. I still have to pick two numbers that when you multiply, you get negative 21, and when you add, you get negative 4. In this case, it's going to be 3 and negative 7. So I'm going to take that number, and I'm going to take 3, divide by 3, and do the same thing over here. Make sure you reduce it. Okay, and then from here, I'm just going to write the answer. So it's going to be x plus 1. That plus 1 is this number right here. And then I have 3x minus 7. So that's the 3x, that's the minus 7. So there we have it. So it's kind of similar to the AC method, but faster. So I'm going to do the same thing for number 20. Number 20, you see 6 right there. Well, turn out it's not a GCF. So we're going to have to go through that x. So we have 30, 6 times 5 is 30. We have negative 31 here. So pick two numbers. When you multiply, you get 30. When you add, you get negative 31. So it's going to be 30 and 1, negative and negative. So once again, I'm going to divide by 6, which is this number right here. And then don't forget, you have to reduce it. So I'm going to get negative 5 over 1. So once again, I'm just going to write the y here, So my final answer is y minus 5. 6y minus 1. There we have it. All right, take a look at number 21. You never want to see a negative number in front. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take out that negative. So I'm going to take it out first, negative 1. So I ended up with 3u squared plus 4u minus 4. And then from there, we're going to try to factor. Okay, so same thing. I'm just going to go with the x factor, negative 12, 4. Pick two numbers. When you multiply, you get negative 12. When you add, you get 4. So I have 6 and negative 2. All right, divide by 3, divide by 3. Reduce it, and then write down the answer. So don't forget we have a negative in front, and we have u plus 2, and then 3u minus 2. Okay, so for this problem, like I said, make sure you factor out the negative 1. Number 24 is a special, the special product. Okay, this is a square of a binomial. So hopefully you remember. So that's a u squared minus 7 squared. So when you factor, you get u plus 7, u minus 7. All right, so same thing for number 25. So the most important part of these numbers is the base. So make sure you get the right base, which is aw squared minus 7 squared. 64 is a special number because 64 is a perfect square and also perfect cube. So you need to make sure which one to use. So from here, we simply write down the factor. 8w plus 7, aw minus 7. All right. You see for number 26, I have two terms. So you can go, first of all, you can just say, oh, okay, when you see two terms, you think of the conjugate, a squared minus b squared. However, 72 is not a perfect square and 50 is not a perfect square. So you know that we have to take out the GCF in case you forgot. So that should give you a hint right there. We need to take out the GCF. So the GCF in this case is 2. So if I take out 2, I ended up with 36y squared minus 25. Now 36 and 25 are perfect square. So we're good. So we have 6y plus 5 and then 6y minus 5 with the 2 for the GCF. Okay. All right. So 27, like I said, the GCF is the most important part. You have to take it out first. So you can see right here the GCF is x cubed. Now we have w to the 4th minus 16. That's a perfect square. So we have w squared minus 4 and w squared plus 4. But we're not done because these two are perfect squares. So you have to break it down. So we have w plus 2, w minus 2, and then we still have that w squared plus 4. Okay. All right. So moving on to number 28. Number 28, as you can see, we have the perfect cube. Okay. So when you have two binomials, there are 3 cases. You have the perfect square or you have the perfect cubes. The perfect cubes, there are 2 formulas for the perfect cubes. You have a cube plus b cube. Okay. Now, the way to memorize the sign would be SOAP. So let me write it down for you. So think SOAP. So what do I mean by this? SOAP mean we have the same, the opposite, and always positive. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Same means you have a plus b. So same sign here. So you have the plus here, so you have the plus here. Now, The next one is going to be a squared, and it's going to be the opposite, so it's negative. And then the last one is always plus, right? So for a cubed minus b cubed, same thing. First one is going to be the same sign. Second one is going to be the opposite. And then the last one always positive. So 27u cubed, that's 3u cubed. It's important for you to recognize the base so we can use a formula, which is a and b, right? So now you know that we just plug it in. So it's going to be 3u minus 5. And then I have 3u squared, which is 9u squared, plus 3u times 5. It's going to be 15u. Always positive, so it's 25.